Yo, what is up guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back yet again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance video today, and I gotta say guys, it feels good to be back. It feels good to be back, guys. After nearly a month of not making any videos, it feels good to take a break and actually just enjoy life for a minute, guys, especially in the beginning parts of the year. And finally, we're back right here with another fragrance video. I miss you guys. Let's get at it. Now today we are going to make another real versus clone comparison, guys, and this one right here I discovered through this website, and I gotta thank them first and foremost. So if you guys are gonna eventually order this product, please make sure to check their website first before anyone else, because these guys were so generous as to sending me a lot of the samples of these fragrance clones that I needed. Thanks to Anabis.com, Anabis Perfumes. I like their products, okay? The reason why is because not only do they have a lot of very interesting clones that they also sell samples of, but they also do have oriental perfumes such as Abdul Samad Al Qurashi, as well as their own oriental blends. So definitely check them out. Again, I want to thank Jan and the team of Anabis Perfumes for sending me these very generous samples of pretty much everything I requested. So thank you again, Anabis. And the fragrance clone that I will be talking about today in depth is none other than Paris Corner's Charuto Tobacco Vanille. Yes, Tobacco Vanille. Charuto Tobacco Vanille though, okay? Now this one right here, I found out about this fragrance clone literally by searching the web, looking for interesting clones, guys. And this one, just by the name, went for the jugular. Basically took the name Tobacco Vanille, added Charuto to it, but again, this pretty much tells you this is a clone of the original Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. Now, why is it that Tom Ford clones are popular right now in Fragcom and beyond? And as you guys know, I did a review on the Oud Wood clone by Maison Alhambra. A lot of people are swearing on that right there. But this one right here, what makes Tobacco Vanille special and what makes the clone really important nowadays? Well, first and foremost, Tom Ford does what they do best, okay? When it comes to perfumes, they are very congruent with the message of providing a classy masculine character to their masculine perfumes right here. And Tobacco Vanille, the original, is pretty much, I mean, the epitome of that. And not only that, but Tobacco Vanille to me is a pioneer. Okay, it is a pioneer to me. It is the fire starter. It is one of those perfumes that I guess in your beginning stages of being a member of the fragrance community, you will go through it. You will hear a lot about the hype and the really good feedback. And if you're not that experienced with tobacco mixed with sweet vanilla and spices, guys, and woods, I mean, this type of perfume will definitely blow you away. So that to me is what Tobacco Vanille is. It is a pioneer. And fast forward to today, not only do we have clones of Tobacco Vanille, I've seen soaps really inspired by Tobacco Vanille. That's how crazy it's gotten. But also, it has spawned a lot of tobacco fragrances, sweet tobacco fragrances. A lot of sweet tobacco fragrances really popped out, I would say fall of this year, and every fall actually, there's always a new tobacco scent. And that's to me part of, you know, thanks to Tobacco Vanille. Now the big hiccup with Tom Ford is obviously the cost. Okay, Tom Ford is never cheap. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's never cheap. The clothing has never been cheap. The watches have never been cheap. And of course, the perfumes will never be cheap. And with the inflation nowadays, you can only expect those prices to go up. And so I would say that clones like Charuto Tobacco Vanille are kind of important if, you know, the price is really out of the question. It's not an option. Like, it's really super out of your budget and you want something that can deliver like Tobacco Vanille does, right? So definitely that is something to consider, and that is why fragrance clones are, you know, at a mass takeover right now. Now, what's really different with this review, guys, is that I will describe this one first. Now, usually I do a really quick recap of the original and then I go into the clone. But today I will talk about the clone more. Why? Because simply put, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to the clone. So let's go spray this thing right now. Okay guys, now let's talk about this clone right here, and this is my unbiased view on this. As you've seen on my previous videos, sometimes the clone comes out on top, sometimes the original comes out on top, and in some cases, guys, it's kind of like a 50-50 right here, guys. So this fragrance right here, pretty much on paper, has the same exact notes as Tobacco Vanille, guys. Okay, now as my great friend Travis Gearhart has said, and he produces clones, he's always said that, you know what, I'm honest and transparent by saying, hey, you know what, the quality of the oils or the scents will never really match the original, but what matters is that we copy the impression of the fragrance, or we get it kind of, you know, close to the original right there. Now, this one surprised me because as I've tried the original, I've worn the original, I felt that this clone had a lot more to deliver than the original. Why? Because I got to experience this fragrance and its different stages for a great amount of hours. And I would say that that is a stark difference from the original Tobacco Vanille. Let's look at the notes, guys. Right in the beginning, you are going to get tobacco and spices such as nutmeg and cinnamon, okay? Now, right here, guys, I would say that the tobacco is like a moderate tobacco, okay? It's not a dark type of tobacco. It's a moderate tobacco. You can call it a soft tobacco, and it does share some space with the other notes. And that is a stark difference, I would say, from the original Tobacco Vanille. Right here on Charuto, right in the beginning, guys, you will get tobacco, but then you will get a prominent nutmeg and cinnamon spice stage. Okay, and that goes with the tobacco. And maybe on the original Tobacco Vanille, it's a lot more tobacco, it's a lot more darker, and the tobacco kind of blankets over those spices which are underlying. But right here, guys, it shares the same space. And actually, this reminded me of HOS N001. And again, this is a fragrance that some people in Fragcom don't like because of the brand, but the fragrance N001 I really like because it's one of those true nutmeg, cinnamon, fizzy cola type fragrances right there. And I would say that the opening of this reminded me of that. It gave me that nutmeg, cinnamon, fizzy cola opening, but with a moderate tobacco opening. So I really liked it. The thing about the opening as well is that it is much stronger than Tobacco Vanille, because Tobacco Vanille, the original, actually starts as a mild aura scent. This one starts with a strong aura scent that only proceeds to get stronger as time goes, guys. Okay, so again, big difference right there, because this one does have a sweet, spicy cinnamon nutmeg stage mixed with tobacco versus a dark tobacco basically blanketing underlying spices like Tobacco Vanille. Now 30 to 40 minutes in, this thing just gets stronger. This gets stronger, and this is something that I've realized wearing a lot of these Middle Eastern clones, guys. Actually, they don't start with a bang, which is a stark difference from, I would say, Dua. When I used to review Dua, they would always start with a bang. The clones would start with a strong opening, whereas with a lot of the Middle Eastern clones, especially like Latafa Fakar, which I will eventually review, starts off like kind of like just an aura scent, but then in 30 to 40 minutes, kaboom, it just it's just a lot, and it really, you know, really projects. And I would say that this is due to probably more ingredients coming into the foray being revealed through this fragrance. And this mid that comes in, like I said, 30 to 40 minutes in, is the strongest and longest stage of this fragrance right here, guys. Okay, so the mid, it does get stronger. So if you've owned Tobacco Vanille, and you wish that maybe more people around the room would totally get it or sniff it, then this is your answer right here. Because I feel like the original tobacco vanille is dark and inviting, and it should be kind of like just like this lingering scent. But I'm sure that there are others out there, maybe you, that wished it could be stronger. And this is definitely the strong one right here. So right here in the mid of Charuto Tobacco Vanille, in comes a lot of those ingredients right here. You are going to get, of course, your vanilla, your uplifting, powerful vanilla. That's right here in this scent. You're also going to get your cocoa. You're also going to get your tobacco flower and your tonka bean. That is pretty much a transition from that tobacco, guys. Now the tobacco flower, I want to say it does give this cognac slash whiskey type smell in this fragrance. Now when we look at the original tobacco vanille, guys, I mean, this totally makes sense. This addition of tobacco flower that gives sort of like that whiskey booze, a very slight whiskey booze type of smell, because it would definitely match a dark masculine intro, which the original provides. But right here, guys, in Charuto Tobacco Vanille, although that is there, I would say that the sweetness and the tonka bean reign supreme right here in this mid. And again, it is going to be a strong projector, so it will hit people around you. And as you guys know, the sweet perfumes have taken over. These types of perfumes really do get compliments, guys, okay? So you're gonna get that tonka bean continuing from the tobacco. You're gonna get an uplifting vanilla smell. You're still gonna get that cocoa and a slight whiskey smell. So with this mid, that's precisely what you're going to get. You're going to get that hay-like transition from the tobacco, that moderate tobacco, into that tonka bean, which is also sweet. And then you're also going to have vanilla, which is uplifting and sweet. You're going to get a slight whiskey smell, as well as your cocoa. That's still going to be there right there. So the thing I'm going to say though is that this stage is not only the strongest, but here in Charuto Tobacco Vanille, this one lasts 8 to 9 hours. Okay, this stage lasts 8 to 9 hours, and that's kind of easy to understand, because all you got to do really, in my opinion, is to put an overload of vanilla and tonka bean, and again, you're gonna get that sweet impression all throughout. But definitely it is a very, very long lasting stage, and it is also pretty seamless. And this is something that I find is much, much stronger than the original Tobacco Vanille. The original Tobacco Vanille has a darker, more subdued, more classic man feel, whereas this is definitely more of a mainstream appeal type deal, with a lot of sweetness, a lot of tonka bean, and a lot more projection. So this is something that, again, if you are not a niche collector and you want to take advantage of the sweet and the tobacco right there, you just want a compliment getter, 100%, this will definitely deliver, and it will deliver for 9 hours straight. Now the dry down right here, guys, of Charuto Tobacco Vanille, which is comprised of dry fruits as well as woods, comes in on hour 9. Yes, hour 9 is when it comes in, guys, and I gotta say, I cannot complain about this performance right here, because this thing, I would say the dry down is pretty seamless, because the dried fruits pretty much is sweet, and so, you know, that tonka vanilla transition just seamlessly goes into that. And of course, woods just back it up, some dark woods near the end. But this dry down, honestly, guys, I had to like take a shower, you know, like I was done with work, and this thing was pretty strong even on the 12-hour mark. I would say maybe 14-hour mark. It gets into a lingering scent, but that's overboard. That's already more than what you can expect, you know, from a scent, guys, okay? Compared to the original Tom Ford, guys, the original Tobacco Vanille, to me, got progressively weaker at the 9-hour mark. And of course, by the 12-hour mark, it was barely there, guys, okay? So that thing, you know, I would say significant scent, 9 hours on the original. This one, significant scent, over 12 hours. And I would say this though, that The original Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, the real big difference is that, of course, the original stays true to the Tom Ford character. That I will say. I mean, definitely when you smell the original, you know, it does smell like a classy, masculine, well, even a girl could actually wear it, but it's definitely a classy, dark, expensive smelling perfume, guys. But again, you know, the big sticking point has to be the cost. I mean, the fact that these things are pretty expensive, I don't know. Now that, you know, we have a sprawling, you know, fragrance community and sprawling new brands and tobacco scents are all over the place nowadays. I mean, I don't know. You would have to be a pretty staunch supporter of Tom Ford, a true Tom Ford collector to be even getting into that. Or maybe you have a lot of money, okay? But this one right here, surprisingly, this one, I thought it was 40 bucks, but at the Anabis website, it's 30 bucks. It's 30 bucks on the Anabis website, $10 less than what I thought. But this one for 30 bucks, I gotta say, this one delivers right here. And again, what I do like about Charuto Tobacco Vanille is that it does have a lot of really prominent stages that you can really enjoy, and you don't have to get into like a complicated fragrance. This is not a complicated fragrance. This basically takes advantage of the fact that, hey, tobacco, spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, woods, that these types of notes are just mainstream lovable, and they basically put it in this perfume with a beautiful budget, and it captures a lot of the good stuff, I would say, of Tobacco Vanille. Not exactly, I would say, the overall character, but it does give off a lot of the good stuff that Tobacco Vanille does for 30 bucks. So yeah, at this point, I would say that this one comes out on top, and that's why I didn't feel like I needed to give you guys a recap of Tobacco Vanille. I feel like you guys have already tried that one right there, but again, very expensive. It's very expensive at this point, guys. And I mean, even for me, like, I'm really not the type to spend 200, 300 every week or every other day to pursue perfumes. I mean, there is a reason why I review samples. It's just more cost effective, guys. And it gives me an unbiased view of these fragrances. And of course, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Anabis for, again, sharing this to me. I want to thank a lot of you guys that send me decants to review. Thank you so much. Definitely, we're not supported by those big companies that pay those paid reviewers, you know, to sing the praises of the high heavens. We're not that, okay? So definitely support Anabis if you guys want to try out Charuto Tobacco Vanille. They do have samples for like $1. I think it's like $1, and you guys can see for yourself what I'm actually talking about. But this is definitely a beautiful mainstream type of tobacco fragrance, and this definitely can rival the original Tobacco Vanille. Definitely 100%, guys. Okay, so that is it. That is my review of Charuto Tobacco Vanille by Paris Corner. If you guys have any other suggestions of interesting clones that I should review, twists or clones, let me know on the comments below, guys. And I know that I have another one from Anabis, which is their red tobacco. I'm not sure if it's Maison Alhambra or something else, but there's another red tobacco that I will review soon, guys. Okay, I know I have a huge backlog, guys. I'm supposed to do Arabian Night Silver as well. So again, thank you for your patience, guys. And also, I do know that we are reaching 15,000 subscribers. So again, I want to thank all my subscribers for supporting the channel. Again, this is your most unbiased spot right here on YouTube. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless. Take care. Peace.